Okay, so here's another tutorial. And again, my backgrounds are from Lost and Taken. Real nice website. And these pictures of movie stars are from Dr. Macro. That's DR Macro. And you can Google either one of those and you'll find lots of fun images to play with. So I'm going to copy this image and I'm going to paste it on this other image here. Now you always want to, you don't want to make this picture of Bridget Bardot bigger. You want to make the background smaller. You don't want to blow images up. You don't want to make Photoshop fill in information. So I'm now going to grab the crop tool. It's over here. And notice when you put your cursor over a tool, you get the letter C. So if you'd hit C on your keyboard, and I'll do that, I'll hit C. There we go. Choose that tool. If your crop tool is ever reacting crazy, seems to be keeping a certain shape, look up here at the width and height and the resolution. If someone needed something a set size and they were cropping it down, they might put the size in here, and then you would be constrained to that size later. So delete anything if it's up there. All right, so now we're going to crop this to like a square. Don't worry about it being too perfect. Just, get it a general sort of square. There we go. Double click. It's a square. Hooray. We're going to go here and put a layer mask on it. Right there's our layer mask. You put your cursor over it, it says add layer mask. Sure enough, we want to. I'm going to cheat a little. You can see I'm selecting one and the other, one and the other. We want to select Bridget here. And we're going to go and grab this magic wand tool. And I'm going to click on the blue. I'm going to click over here. I'm adding to the selection. And I'm holding down the shift to do that. I'm going here. I think this is a pretty solid color background. That color isn't in her face, so it's pretty easy to select. I don't want this to have a sharp edge, so I'm going to say select, modify, feather. You don't generally want things to have a sharp edge in any sort of photo manipulation. All right. Now, I don't want to fill in black in here. It won't work. I need to fill it in on my layer mask. So, edit, fill, black. I could have also just deleted that background, but we'll use the layer mask for now. We're going to copy this layer mask to another layer later on. So let me grab my brush and brush in the areas that we didn't get. And I'll make this a little bigger. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let me cancel that. Okay, I can't reach that. There we go. Cancel. Command 0 is what I wanted, not Command O. All right. So I'm going to try and clean up a little bit of this blue. And I'm using the brackets to change the brush size. All right. Some of it over here. All right, so that blue is kind of like this blue halo showing through her hair. I could carefully go and get rid of it all, but since this isn't the most photorealistic image, I think I'm just going to use a different technique. So I'm going to go over here in my layers to my adjustment layers, and I'm going to click on them, and I'm going to go down to hue saturation. Now I only want this hue saturation layer to affect Miss Bardot here, so I am going to hold Option down, and as I move my cursor between the two lines, you get those little double circles, and if you click, you can see you get that indented arrow, meaning this is only affecting this layer, not this layer. So under hue saturation, under master, you can choose individual colors and change their hue or desaturate them. So I'm going to desaturate blue, and I can still see that there's a lot of blue in here, and I'm going to go to cyan next. So I could desaturate it and totally turn it to gray, but I think I'm actually just going to shift that color. Notice as I move the slider, it's updating, so maybe I'll just There we go. It's almost the same color as the background, so that's pretty nice. All right. Next, I am going to go. I have some other images open in here. Where is it? Yes, I'm going to grab this one, Command A, Command C. It's a different texture wallpaper. And I'm going to go back here and I'm going to paste it. It's going to be on top of everything. I want to copy this layer mask. I want to keep it here and copy it up here. I'm going to hold down the Option key and drag it up, and now it's copied onto here. Now notice over here I didn't need to cover this area, so I'm going to have to add some black over here to fill in that area that wasn't covered before and didn't need to be covered before. All right. So now this is showing up on top of her. I'm going to change the mode. I want this to kind of make her not look so perfect. Maybe so she fits in a little bit with the image. And you can always bring down, you know, your opacity to make it look like it fits better if that's necessary for whatever you choose. Woo! I think I'll just do multiply and I'll pull it back a little. All right. So I have this kind of grungy thing going on. She's kind of that's nice. Faded a little bit with the background. All right, I'll stop playing in a second. All right, linear burn it is. All right, so now I want to add another element. So I'm going to go to Illustrator. And I want to bring up my type box. It's Command T. I'm going to go here and show my options just because I always like to have those viewable. The nice thing about this is I don't have to go through all the fonts to find the one I want. I'm just going to highlight that. And I am going to type C-A-F-E. It came up so quickly I didn't really have time to even show you properly. C-A-F-E-I-N-A, Caffeina. So this is the font I'm going to use. It's just like a mini Pix font. I'm going to click on my desktop. It only works for letters, so I'm just typing letters. I know the numbers don't have any pictures in them. All right, so it's like coffee rings. You could also just draw a circle and put a brush on it. But I'm going to choose one. I'm going to copy it, paste it by itself, and select it. I'm now going to go up here and say Type, Create Outlines. It's not a font anymore now. It's a graphic. Make it a little bigger. And I'm going to choose a lovely color for it. Okay. Oops, let me redo that. Going to copy it, Command C. Go back here, Command V. I want to paste it as a smart object because then it is editable. I can change the color at a later date, and in fact I might do it right away because I think that's a little bit of a, don't think that's working so well, that color. So I'm going to size it. Remember, it's a vector, so it can be resized. You don't have to worry about making a vector bigger. It'll still print okay. Double click. And I don't like that color, so let's go back. I'm going to double click right here, and notice this is not the original file. Here's the original file. Change everything you want in this file and save it. Nothing's going to happen to Photoshop. You have to do the vector smart object file. I think I need that to be a little warmer color. Okay, hit Command S. Let's go back to Photoshop. It's gonna, there we go. Oh, that was really quick. That updated super quick. All right. I'm now going to, actually I think I'm going to copy this. So now I have two of these vector smart objects. Now let's say you don't want them to be vector, and you can tell they're vector because this one, they have these little pages on them. And by the way, if you think you can change this one to a different color and open it in Illustrator, it'll change both of them. They're seeing themselves as one object. So if you change the color of this one, it'll change this one and vice versa. But I want a rasterize one. I want it to be pixel based so I can treat it with all the available filters. So how do I do that? Layer, rasterize, smart object. Let's take a look back at it. Now it's still called vector smart object because it didn't change the name. It doesn't automatically change the name, but it doesn't have that little page on it, so it's not a smart object anymore. It's now just a pixel-based object. I'm going to hide this top one, and I'm just going to hit Command U and change the color. Command U, U is an under and up. I'll just slide the, just so you can see it. I can go back and change that later. I'm going to go filter, blur, motion blur. Do it a bit. There we go. And now I could turn this one back on, and that would be like underneath it, like a kind of shadow. That color doesn't work too well, so. There we go. And I'm going to grab my wallpaper here, Command A, Command C. I'm going to go back. I'm going to paste on the top and clip it by holding the Option key down into that other layer. I could further, I could add effects. I could add a drop shadow if I thought that looked cool. I kind of, there we go. And you can turn these on and off and kind of make your decisions about them. I could also add kind of more adventurous filters here, so I'm going to choose some different colors. Okay, and maybe, okay. So filter, sketch, these use the colors in your toolbar, and that's why I went and changed them. So let's go to halftone pattern, and you can see it's using the blue and the warmer red brown. I'm going to grab circle. I'm going to hit OK. So there we go. That looks pretty cool too. I can add those in. Now we've got really a lot of information in here. I could also, let me paste this back in. You don't have to clip things into a vector smart object. You can clip them into a regular pixel-based object. You can see that has areas of transparency. Let me turn these two off, and you can see now it's kind of clipped in there. It's ghosted in, and I can play with the different blending modes. I think that's a little bit, that's definitely too much to have that clipped in there, but I did want to show you could do that. And again, I could make any of these, any mode I want. All right, so that is that one.